I stood upon the bank of the water's edge and gazed pensively into the distance. I pondered many of life's mysteries, when a stiff breeze grazed my nipples. This awakened my senses, so I pulled out my camera, started filming, and here I am. So good morning! It is a damn fine day out here. Sean has cracked on with his perquisition of slugs and snails, or whatever it is that entomologists do. It's an absolutely irrelevant branch of biology. Don't tell him I said that though. But what can I do to fill this glorious day? Let's have a wander. An inaugural showcase of spring, perhaps. That sounds good to me. Where better to start other than with the snowdrops? The prestigious Galanthus nivalis. Absolute little show-offs, right? Laying down a rather affluent exuberance of Majestic aesthetics in the golden hour sun. That's pretty sexy. Would bang. However, this plant possesses a multitude of common names. There's something for everyone amongst the myriad. Milkflower, which is a translation of its scientific genus, Galanthus, the fair maidens of February. Or February fair maidens if you want to be a little bit less long-winded. But here's the best name ever, right? Dingle Dangles. That's a personal favourite. That's some goddamn dingle dangles. Snowbells, Snowpiercers, Candlemas bells, St. Mary's taper, white boy cracker motherfuckers. Oi, 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 what's all this then? These are not just pretty flowers. Oh no. These are items of botanical interest. This flower's common name is crocus. Its scientific genus is also crocus. Easy life, Crocus vernus. A highly variable species. We're talking block colour, two-tone, all shades of pink and purple. But this early blooming crocus is also known as a crocus vanguard. Holy shit, right? That's a pretty badass name for a flower. The crocus vanguard. It's not a scientific classification though. It's more so an honorary title. It gets the name vanguard from this flower's tendency to lead the charge into spring, quite valorously. They're one of the very first bloomers. Before daffodils. Before all else for that matter. Other than snowdrops and the odd anemone. Damn. Look at the way the sunlight is diffusing through those petals. Makes it look as if the stigma is glowing. That's real pretty. Very pretty indeed. Sorry, I mean that's a really captivating botanical observation. Oh, we got aesthetics for days out here. Oh, look at that bumblebee amongst the crocus, doing work, absolutely smothered in pollen. Let me tell you something interesting about crocuses in general though. You know the spice saffron? Saffron is made from a species of crocus, an autumn blooming purple crocus, Crocus sativus. Saffron is made from the dried red stigma of the flower. Bit of flower anatomy. The stigma of the saffron crocus is the protruding red tendril arrangement that arises upwards and outwards from the base of the flower. Quite a peculiar stigma, but that's where saffron comes from. How useful. I'm positive that that's the call of a buzzard in the background. Going mental. Oh, that's the money shot. Start throwing them dollar bills. Damn girl, look at that ass. It's really sad how bumblebees die shortly after they sting you. Like really tragic. I can't deal with it. The leaves of crocuses resemble blades of grass, but that white stripe that runs down its centre is the most salient feature. Easy ID. So respect your crocus vanguards, and then go forth to raise many strong sons so you can train in the art of the shield wall, so that when your home is threatened, you can stand with your progeny at the gates and lay waste to those who seek to bring your ruin, because that's what crocus vanguards would do. Because they're manly flowers. You want to be manlier than a flower, right? Pussy. But damn, those do look pretty aesthetic. Using aesthetic as an adjective rather than a noun, what do you know about that? I mean, 90% of my forest looks like it's been hit by mortars. But in a sunrise, everything's goddamn glorious. Oh yeah. Let me tell you, to get these low angle shots of all these plants, I'm having to hit the deck lay on the floor, face in the dirt, and I am certain that I have laid in mammalian feces. This is incredibly undesirable. Changing subject, I love the blue and the yellow. That is some damn fine colour. That's deadly combination plays. Bluebell foliage is taking over the forest floor. Soon, the forest floor will be treacherous to venture through. That tree looks like an elephant's foot. Check out this little cool kid. Windflower, just chilling, perched up and ensconced against this tree trunk. It's like, I'm the true underrated harbinger of spring, but I don't make a big song and dance about it. I know my role. I know my title. You want to buy some meth? This anemone, it tells me. You know those snowdrops? They get all the credit. Everyone associates spring with snowdrops. But people only like snowdrops because they're droopy, dumb and lazy. The goddamn dingle dangles. They're tenulous little pussies. Me though, I'm a proud flower. I stand tall. I am most glorious, most valorous. But I get no recognition. The struggle is real. But soon, the windflowers will blanket the forest floor, along with its brethren, buttercups and lesser celandine. They win the turf war eventually. Just manipulated the scenery a tad. A spring shrine to attract and allure the woodland elven bitches. Get myself a pointy-eared arrow-slinging whore. Shout out to the shell of the grove snail. Sepaye nemoralis, and an enemy nemerosa next to a Sepaye nemoralis. Similar last names, nemorosa, nemoralis. Same etymology. The Nemo part comes from the word nemus or nemus, meaning forest, woodland. What do you know about that? Oh my days. What is this? Are these young and blooming bluebells? Certainly does look that way. Similar colour, very similar bud arrangement. But no! Don't be silly there, Cletus. I'll tell you what these are, boy. These are known as squills. Now you bitch don't get back shucking that corn, boy. You best get, boy, you best get. Squill, though. Weird name, right? Squill. Sounds like a bird or a small rodent. I'd love to say that this is the Siberian squill, because that sounds a bit more gritty, but Siberian squills have a yellow ovary at the base of the flower. These have blue ones, so this is just an ordinary spring squill, Silaverna. But those blue stamens, well, those blue anthers, that's quite an intense blue, like goddamn I am admiring. 10 out of 10 would bang. Admiring this plant's ability to reflect 450 odd nanometer wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation. That's quite a feature. Oh, them daffs looking real ripe. Have you ever seen a female void her bowels, spatter all down her leg 2 hours after she was dared to drink the water from a vase full of daffodils? Well, I have. Daffodil poisoning. That's harsh life lessons. Shout out to my boys, Pipto and Porus. Mycology master race representing. And shout out to Saul McGee. How you doing, son? There has been an abrupt change in circumstances. My glorious sun has been obscured by cloud coverage. I was not anticipating a potentially perilous dilapidation in weather. Mother Nature has no shame. That's a cheap shot. That's some Spindleshank tier insensitivity. Pro tip, we're starting this thing where Spindleshank is an infamous mythical figure that roams around the woodland and stabs adventurers in the back while they observe fungi. That's a thing now, on par with the Blair Witch. So I encourage you to spread this tale around your next campfire. Hop on my merry bandwagon. I'm gonna head out of the tree line, investigate, assess the situation. If this ends up like CampAesthetics 11, then I'm gonna burn the goddamn woods down. Oh my god! I came out here casually, left the tripod and whatnot behind. Good lord, do I regret that decision. This could be an amazing shot. If I wasn't reduced to shooting handheld, screw it, we'll do it live. Spectacular, in the truest sense of the word. Intimidatingly beautiful. No homo though. That is a cloud and a half. But it brought no rain. Only mild undulations of wind. Mother Nature clearly heard my threats. I have tapped into the power of weather control. We've upped the game. We're back in the game. Oh, bloody hell, that's bright. Full lens flare. I spy me some Auricularia auriculajudae. That's well cheeky. Uh-oh, better watch out for Spindleshank. Yeah, see, it's a thing now. Now this is an interesting fungus. Let me tell you about this fungus. Oh my god! It's Spindleshank! He's stabbing me! Anyway, where was we? Oh yes, we were going to talk about... He's back! Right, anyway, all kidding aside. Right, for real now though. This fungus is what's This is a thing! Some young and budding hyacinths. I don't care about hyacinths. No one cares about hyacinths, apart from old ladies. I can tell you something interesting though. The genus of these hyacinths is called Hyacinthus, which is very similar to the genus that bluebells belong to, Hyacinfoides. Hyacinfoides just means like a hyacinth, resembling hyacinths. Let's practice some focus pulling. Basically, the hyacinths are the OG gangsters. They're a lot like bluebells, but significantly larger, fatter, and more flashy. I shall whack up an image of the hyacinths. Bluebells on steroids, right? Bluebells are the copycats that just so happen to take over and steal all the glory. Some dynamic movement in the glorious sun. Oh, that was crap. Well, that was okay, I suppose. Remember, this is manly botanical interest. Oh, for God's sake, the one time I'm in autofocus mode, a goddamn blue tip perches up right next to me. So close, and my camera won't focus on anything other than the sticks. Oh my days, a Primula vulgaris. This is very exciting. Soon, there will be many, and I will eat them all, because I am destructive. Look at them leaves! Looks like the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Botany Edition. Except they don't get any more youthful with age, they're pretty ugly bastards. Primroses are of course edible in their entirety. The flowers, the leaves, the root. Quite a substantial cheeky nibble at that, as the rosette of leaves is significant. The primrose leaf rosette can get confused with the leaf rosette of foxgloves. The leaves of foxgloves do resemble the primrose in many ways. In particular, that craggy exterior, riddled with deep fissures. Foxglove leaves tend to be more pointed rather than rounded out like primrose leaves though, but not necessarily, subject to variation across different species. But foxgloves are very toxic, Some people have actually died from eating the entire foxglove rosette, presumably mistaking them for a cheeky nibble gold mine of primrose leaves. It's not necessarily the potency of the toxin that is perilous, but it's the quantity of the plant matter that people consume which leads to the mortality, or at the very least, very severe, debilitating side effects. Also, there's like this whole thing that foxgloves are supposedly hallucinogenic, so people tend to consume them for that. That is some outrageous ignorance. It's not hallucinogenic in the traditional sense. The visual and auditory disturbances are a consequence of brain damage and gradual heart failure. That's bad times. That's not a trip worth embarking upon. Oh, how convenient! I found me some of that there foxgloves. Not the best example, these are pointed foxglove leaves. You can tell it apart from primrose based on that, but I mean, as long as you're aware of the existence of foxgloves, then you avoid misidentification. It's when you're oblivious to the existence of foxgloves do you think, ah, those must be primrose leaves. But they're pointed primrose leaves. Oh, I'll eat them anyway. Then complications arise. Look at them leaves though. Birds of a feather. Primrose on the left, foxglove on the right. Like twins, separated at birth. Aside from the shape of the leaf, a subtle difference can be found on the back of the leaf. The veins of primroses, which are on the left, shoot outwards towards the edge of the leaf, diagonally, pretty much a straight beeline towards the edge. Foxgloves, on the right, have curvature. They curve upwards towards the tip of the leaf. Subtle, but distinct. Here we have both primrose and foxglove together. Primrose is in the foreground. So easy to get them mixed up, right? If you're oblivious to foxgloves. But now you know. So may you go forth and devour many primroses. Prior to getting distracted by the primroses and foxgloves, I made a fire, fancied myself a cup of tea, to wet the old whistle. Because talking about flowers is thirsty work, but the smoke is looking rather majestic. Hashtag brightside. That wind is going to shift any moment and blow that smoke into my face, I just know it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, this fire will not do. This is not an acceptable fire for an episode of CampAesthetics. There we go. At the very least, it ticks a box. Satisfies the insatiable lust for big fires. And it's also pretty light for the Americans to look at. Anyway, finna make myself some tea. Gallium aperine, starting to rear its furry little face once again. Most majestic. But soon, Gallium aperine coffee back on the menu. That AlfieAesthetics approved woodland delicacy. I have no information to present. I think we've covered this in much detail. But I think this looks nice. It's easy on the eyes. My tired eyes. Long day, son. I estimate there's about 20 minutes of daylight left. What else can we fit into this episode? Those ducks, mallards, a female and a drake, gliding across the festering putrescence. Want to get closer, get the money shot, pro-wildlife photography. Oh yeah, well fuck off then! This plant, arrow-shaped leaves with long stems resembling dock in many ways. Many of you will already be familiar with what this plant is, whether you know it or not, or at least familiar with its fruiting stage, because this arrangement is the foliage of wild arum, the precursor to those little red balls on a stick. Well, this foliage is the precursor to the vulva-looking bloom, the inflorescence, and that is the precursor to the fruit. So, speckled upon the leaves are little purple spots. This is a taxonomical feature of the particular species of arum, Arum maculatum. Maculatum is Latin for spotted, tainted, spoiled, corrupted, tortured, right? The leaves are impure. They are tainted with spots. You know the old common names, cows and bulls, Adam and Eve, naked boys, and that is a legit common name. What the fuck, right? Cuckoo pine or cuckoo pint, if pintle is still in your vocabulary. Pintle is a very, very, very old word for penis. How unsavoury, that is most crude. The common names are all quite immodest. Or so many people thought back in the day, particularly the Victorians. Let me tell you about that. Back in the day, 1800s to early 1900s, the Victorian era. Modesty and sexual chastity was this whole thing. Had to be proper, know what I'm saying? So, the Victorians sought to immediately do away with the crude, vulgar and improper references to male and female genitalia that were associated with wild Arum. Thus, they renamed Arum to Lords and Ladies, which is considerably more appropriate. Kinda stuck, more so than any other common name. I occasionally stumble across these old and decrepit birdhouses, and that's absolutely fine. That's a nice feature. But at this height, absolutely outrageous. Because the wood decays and rots over time, but the fucking 3-inch nails don't. Once had my shoulder slashed open by a rusty nail that was sticking out of a tree. Motherfuckers need to learn birdhouse etiquette. Oh, it's absolutely outrageous, I say. And so ends the day. Shaunicus and I have reconvened, and now we must depart these lands. It's really hard to commit to leaving though, because everything looks so good on camera in this light. Even this inconspicuous dead plant looks amazing, right? The sun is making its departure. Not happy with this shot. Looks a bit crap, we'll get closer. That should be my cue to leave. But I'm thinking, red sky at night makes for interesting cloud arrangements. Quite the dramatic sky. The sky is on fire! I'm still pretty torn up about the blue tit incident. Most unfortunate. I was borderline apoplectic after that incident and must make amends for such unacceptable camera work. So infuriating. This isn't over. Mark my words, I will be back. I mean, it's only a blue tit. Nothing special, right? But it was literally 4 feet away from me and I completely missed it. What a moron, right? And on that bombshell, it's time to end. I'll see you around, bros. Peace!